This is going to be a scary part of the episode because this is my current thinking, and these things don't have to be this way, and they probably won't be this way. But I would like to start a discussion on what changes, because the last thing before the world resets is war. There's economic strife, there's civil unrest, and then there's global war. And global war is just to legally kill the people that were in power, to reset the world, and then also to move borders and alliances around. And that's what happened in the First World War and the Second World War. So the alliances are already being changed. The world as we have built it in the past is now at the breaking point. And right now, this is First World. Right up here, this is all First World here. And this is Third World, and Third World. This is the West and the Western way of life. Everything that has ruled the world has really, for the last several hundred years, been here. But things are changing. We used to be the biggest creditor. We're now the biggest debtor in the history of all the world. So what happens to the alliances? I'm going to give you some general ideas, and we're going to color code them, and I'll go through the map. Thugocracy or communist. This is like China or a country like Russia, where Putin is in charge. They make up the rules as the leaders decide. Now, there's a third world thugocracy, which I would put in like Venezuela, where it's a serf state, where the people, you have somewhat of a chance in this kind of a thugocracy. There are the rich ruling class, and everybody in Russia's not a total slave, but it's not freedom like we understand. But if you're down in Venezuela, it's a nightmare. This is the best of the third world serf states now is probably like Mexico, and it's only because we're on the border. But between the corruption in their government and the drugs, there's no chance of escaping this. The Muslim Brotherhood, and the reason we put a slash here, it's not just the Muslim Brotherhood, it can also be a Islamic theocracy or caliphate. And then a Nazi influence. There's going to be a pushback from this to counterbalance. And then free states. The free states, the only one, honestly, I can really say that in my heart, I really believe will be free, will be Israel. I think Canada will still generally be free, but I'm not sure. And no, he's fighting over New Zealand, or Greenland. But I think everything else is about to really change. And let me show you how I think this is going to line up. Your Muslim influence is going to spread all across, and I think up to Spain. I don't know how far down, but I think you will split the lower part with first world thugocracy, which is China. And I think China is going to be where it used to be kind of the United States was the counterbalance here. I think you're going to start to see the counterbalance in this part of the world all be China and New Zealand. I hope you like Chinese food, James Cameron, because I think you're about to have a lot of it. Now, the United States used to be the protectorate, the protectors of the former Soviet Union. I think that because you are for a time period going to have Nazi influence up here, and maybe a Nazi state come around. I think you might even have some Nazi influence in the United States, unfortunately, because we've had it before, and it will happen there and there, I think. What's going to happen, I believe, is Russia is going to sweep in, and the people of Europe will beg for the thugocracy of Russia. And Russia will sweep across, and I think the only thing that is going to stop them, quite honestly, will be Islam. And I can't decide yet who gets the United Kingdom, but I think that there is going to be a sharing of an awful lot of stuff. I think what's going to happen is I think China's going to come in and they're going to make a deal with Islam. And they'll say, look, we'll just keep things, you keep things stable there, we'll keep everybody else away from you. You just keep everything stable. You just keep giving us oil and everything else. Russia already has oil and gas, plenty of it. They're going to carve it out like this. I think Russia is going to take most of Europe and they will fight, but the counterbalance to Islam in Europe will be the Nazis. They'll kill each other, and I think Russia will come in and take that. So now, what happens here? Well, I think there's going to be a slight influence in South America, in Mexico, and in the United States. I think it is going to be more significant than anyone imagines, and I believe that you are also then going to be co-ruled by a thugocracy of this part of the world. And I think it's going to be, at least in our case, I think it's going to be China. China will be the balance of our power. They will use Islam as the real enforcers that they will then help us, and whoever is in power in our country will be ruled by an American, but it will be a technocrat that will answer to China, and they will stomp things out and use Islam as much as they have to get rid of anybody who's standing up, I think. But we are, I believe, unfortunately, in the end, going to be a third world state. And I think you're going to see a lot of third world action in the former West, unfortunately. Anybody living like America? No. I think we are going to be so bankrupt and we're going to be so ruled over because of the mistakes that we have made in the past that we will resemble a little more Mexico than America. What does that mean for Canada? I don't know. What does that mean for the rest of the world? You tell me. Because do you see the people in Greenland gathering a massive army to fight this back? Do you see Canada, Greenland, or who else? Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where the big march to freedom really is. Tell me. Where is an understanding of freedom going to come from? The West is going to be devastated economically. And we have killed our own cultures so horribly that we don't even know who we are anymore. And as soon as we lose our stuff, we will definitely lose our way because our stuff has begun to define us. And that's why I think Common Core is here, because it will train us to be a surf state. It will train us and it will keep us in order to answer to the Chinese or whoever it is. Look for an alliance between China and Islam. Look for another alliance between Russia and Iran and Europe, especially Germany. Those two alliances, I think, are going to happen. Where do we fall? I don't know. Future is not written. It probably doesn't look very much like that. I hope to God it doesn't. But I'd sure like to see your map. What are the new alliances? And where is it that the real movement for freedom, where does it actually come from in the future?